out back of Ford of Europe at a very secret location, which is Ford Classic Cars. I've begged to get us the access and let me share this time capsule of European Ford heritage with you. Let's go check it out. We got a Capri, but there's so many amazing pieces of history here, but I'm starting with this, a 1972 Ford Capri RS. This is a turnkey road car that you could buy at Ford dealers, but they built this just so that they could go racing. This is effectively Europe's Mustang. Before they could buy Mustangs, they had this, which we never got. It's got a V6, bucket seats, a matte black or satin black hood. And the only reason they did this was so that you didn't get a glare when you were focused on hitting the twisties, maybe doing some laps at the ring, or even rallying it, depending upon how crazy you wanted to get. This is a Group 2 road race car. It is unbelievable, super wide body, 14.5-inch rims in the back, 11.5-inch rims in the front. It's got rear mount radiator, rear mount oil coolers, and under the hood, this is a 3.4 liter V6, and it looks like it screams. Fortunately, we're not starting it today, but just think for a minute what it sounds like. Where are the keys? Who's got the keys? A couple generations later, and this wild animal shows up, the Zaxby's Capri. Mean and menacing. This, for us in America, is very similar to the Fox body. Well, these guys did it first, and just look at this. This thing has 19 by 13-inch wheels in the back and 18 by 12s in the front. This weighs only 1,000 kilos, about 2,200 pounds. It's powered by a 1.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder that makes about 500 horsepower and screams to 10,000 RPM. This is one of the first examples of Ford really using turbochargers, small displacement engines. I like to think of this as a spiritual ancestor to the EcoBoost Mustang. Just being around the presence of this car gets me excited. Fast forward to 1986, and the Ford Sierra Cosworth RS was born. This thing is powered by a 2-liter turbo, makes just over 200 horsepower, rear-wheel drive, my style. It's got a pretty dope Recaro interior, nice bucket seats, cool design, and as you can see, this thing was very ahead of its time. If you rolled up to the street races, the road course, anywhere in this car, you were the king. This thing was one of the most tunable vehicles of its time, and of course spawning a new era in motorsport. This is the legendary Eggenberger Motorsport Texaco liveried Ford Sierra Cosworth RS 500. This is the road car on steroids. This looks body-wise exactly like the road car I just showed you, but underneath the skin is a completely different animal. It's fully caged. It's got one racing seat, the same exact 2-liter turbo, but this one makes up to 600 horsepower. It's got knobs on the dash to adjust the boost during the race. That's amazing. Center lock wheels. This thing clearly means some business. So while the Ford Sierra Cosworth RS was killing it on the road course, Ford was cooking up the RS 200. This thing is built specifically for rally, Group B. They had to build 200 of these to be able to race in Group B, and that's exactly what they did. I mean, Ford built these just so they could go racing. How can you not love that? 30 years ago, this was cruising the streets, anti-lag, launch control, fire-breathing, turbocharged 4-cylinder. Today, the globally available Ford Focus RS. See a connection? Exactly. Well, I mentioned we were out back of Ford of Europe. Also here on this property is where the Ford Fiesta is born. While the Fiesta is new to us in the US, Ford of Europe has been pumping these things out for over 40 years. This is the first one ever. This is the Ford Fiesta Mark I. This is the Mark III. And as you all know, we have the new Fiestas in the US and all over the world, as well as the amazingly fun ST version. I just feel like a kid in a candy store. I can't believe I'm standing here in Cologne, Germany at Ford of Europe. Ford Performance, keep doing this kind of stuff. Let's let someone 30 years from now come and take this tour and be blown away just like I am right now. Hope you all had fun. I know I did. Woo!